Hey, this is Trevor Wallace. I just did an interview on the Zach Sang Show, and I talk about pennies, my net worth. I talk about a lot of cool stuff. How to make a viral video, why entrepreneurs are hilarious at the age of 17, and why you should invest in BMWs and energy drinks. And other than that, peace.
Let's do this. Zach Sang Show.
By the way, while you do this,
I went to film school, so we're good.
San Jose University.
San Jose State, baby.
Wow, look at you.
State school.
By the way, hello, beautiful human. Trevor Wallace is here, Dan's here, Ricky's here. Woo! But before we start, thank you to Total Wireless. There's never been a better time to go there. Total Wireless, Total Confidence. Sorry, thanks for sitting through that commercial.
Dude, that was a good read, though.
Yeah, I didn't look anywhere but the read.
Oh, yeah. But it sounded natural. That's the important part.
Usually I want, like, when people sit across from me to close their eyes because I'm a much better audio thing. I'm not a visual thing.
Okay.
You feel me?
I feel that. Yeah, you got a good voice. It's like, sounds like a V6, a little Hemi in there, and get a good motor voice. Because the voice is the motor of the body. You think about it. Well, the heart probably, but the exhaust maybe is the mouth.
Exhaust is probably the butthole.
I didn't expect it to get stumped this early on. What part of the car do you think? The steering wheel, maybe? Probably the steering wheel, because you direct where you're going.
Totally, but you
or legs.
Yes, but this is a very deep conversation, and I think the voice might be the steering wheel, wheels the legs. The body of the car is obviously your physical body.
Oh, the horn!
Yeah, but you don't use your horn a lot unless you're a douchebag.
Well, have you seen what I'm wearing?
But question, is that just a character that you've given into, this douche thing, or is it organic?
I think it's a facet of me, like a branch of a tree. It's just like, you can get into it easy. But for the most part, I'm pretty introverted, very just a low-key guy, but for me to play into those stereotypes is very easy because I either grew up with them or knew them from school or something like that. But yeah.
How do those stereotypes form? And we can start with Zumiez because is it wrong to say that Zumiez kind of changed your life?
No, that was the first video that really kind of took off, and then I just made that a thing and kind of just ran with that for a little bit. But that character, I used to just shop at Zumiez all the time in high school. I'd go there. So what I'd do is I'd work at my friend's dad's nursery, and we'd help plant things for $40 every Saturday.
Thank God it's plants. I thought it was children.
Oh yeah, no. People, that'd be a different. Yeah, that would be a little bit. Don't put me around kids. I'm great with kids, but for 2 minutes at a time, and then I'm like, oh, it can move, and then it just I'm like, okay. So, plant nursery. Yeah, we'd get paid $40 to go plant stuff, and then I'd go to Zumiez and buy a new T-shirt. That was my $40. And then I'd save the other $4 for I don't know, 8 tacos at J and the B. But yeah, dude, I don't know what it was. I always used to buy a new shirt because if you had a new shirt on Friday at high school, you were the man.
Totally, and you felt good.
Oh, you feel amazing. It was like a tattoo almost in a sense. You're like, oh, this new Hundreds T-shirt, yeah, they're gonna love that.
What motivates your confidence today? Back then, a T-shirt.
Ooh, good haircut. Yeah. But I'll probably get a haircut once a month. But I think a haircut is up there. Car wash will do it. Good car wash. I'm turning into my dad. In a nice car wash, nice cup of Joe, a little bit of the gander, some Sudoku.
Make you feel real good with a nice clean car. I get it.
Yeah. I got a car wash today, so that's why I'm saying it. But I'm the lazy guy. I just do the drive-through ones where you just.
So you sit through it though.
Yeah.
You don't get out.
No, it's more fun.
Yeah, because it's good to look.
Yeah. And yeah, they never do a good job because your car's soaking wet. They're just they just throw some air on it. They're just with 4 giant blow dryers. And that'll be enough. Yeah. Never is, never enough. The car's always still wet. And you're like, well, here we go.
But it's shiny for the first 20 minutes, so it sells you.
Oh yeah, it's great.
And then it's streaky.
Oh yeah.
I know. My car gives me agita. So Zumiez changes your life. Were you surprised by the success of that character and how far you were able to take it?
Yeah. I mean, because the very first one, so there was 2 that got big in the beginning. One was in my car, just me doing a 1-minute monologue, just in character, and just ranting. But the title was Zumiez or whatever. And that did okay. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Let me do a follow-up. And the follow-up one was when I actually went to the store. And then that one was one that did an insane amount of views.
But you shoot that with no permission?
Yeah. So luckily, they had seen the one in the car. Because I went to the one, this was in Culver City at whatever, Fox Hills Mall or something.
Literally down the street.
Down the street. Oh, yeah, exactly. yeah. But I went in there. I didn't really have a game plan. I just had my phone out, and then I was all nervous, and I was by myself. I was just like, okay, just make the video. And then one of the girls working like points at me. She goes, Did you make the video about us last week? I was like, yeah. I'm actually here to make another one. So they're like, yeah, that's fine. Go for it. And since they were so like, because had they like not known who I was or be like, yo, get out of the store, you can't do this, I probably wouldn't have ever been anything. I would have gotten nervous and be like, because I'm not somebody who's like, I don't want to stir up the pot. If you're like, hey, don't film him around, I'm like, you got it, Mom. I'm out of here. I'm getting out of the kitchen. You know?
No confrontation.
No. So the fact that they knew who I was and were like open to me filming there made it so like I was there for like an hour. I just did a bunch of stuff and like, yeah, do whatever.
Because when you have that flexibility and that comfort, you can do other takes. You don't need to be nervous. Like it could have really impacted your performance and in turn impacted the success of the video.
Yep.
And in turn,
wouldn't be here.
That's right.
Wouldn't be getting car washes on a Wednesday.
Wow.
Yep. Wouldn't be doing it.
What a life you lead.
Luxury, baby. Yeah, but I was still working a day job and I would do these. I would just make a video like every weekend, and then I'd post on Mondays, and then I'd just film on the weekends, post on Monday, and then I just kind of like eventually had enough steam where I was like, I think I can like leave my job now.
How'd you know that you were funny, even I guess before Vine? Because there has to be a moment that happens in your life that like at least proves to you that you can do this or should try to do this.
Yeah, I think knowing and trying was different. I never really thought I was like the funniest guy in the group. I thought I was like I am pretty introverted in the fact that if I don't know you, I'm not going to be like open, but like people inside of my group that were friends with me would like know I was funny. But like a random, like I was always hanging out with the cool kids, but I wasn't like when the group walked, like when we all walked into a party, I was never like, oh, is that Trevor Wallace in here? I'd always be like, yo, is that Deegan? Is that CJ? Is that what's your friends? Oh, Trevor, Tyler, Travis. What? Yeah, get in here, dude. Like I would roll with, but I was just very like to myself.
But why'd they keep you around?
Because I was funny to them.
What were you doing that was funny to them?
I think just not be. I was just not athletic, and it would be funny to just watch them like throw a football at me and be like, I got it, and I don't got it every time. I never had it. Yeah, my spirals look like. God, what's a great comparison to that? Like a paper airplane, you know, it's like it gets about 3 seconds of airtime, then just like
straight to
I don't know.
ground.
I just I think I just always had personality, and I really wasn't like athletic or any of that, and like I just hung out with a bunch of skater kids growing up, and like to skate, you don't really need to be crazy athletic. You can kind of, as long as you can just maintain, you know, as long as you can just push a board and then follow, then
you're good.
Yeah, I don't really think I knew that I was like funny until like I mean even today I'll post a video. I'm like, is this funny? Is this anything? And then it's like 10 million views. I'm like, all right, that's interesting. So
is that the only place that you seek validation or like
I think,
tell if something works?
Well, that's why I love stand-up is because you know right then and there you say something and then the crowd's like, what? And you're like, all right, that's not funny. Cool. Moving on. So I mean that's why I like stand-up, because the reaction is the best. It's like that you'll know. Seeing an amount of views will never give you that same feeling as a new joke working. Like your first million views, you're like, oh, this is great, this is awesome. But like after that, you're just like, it's like more of like a check mark, and you had to, okay, cool, that one did a million.
Because you can't feel it.
No, well, honestly, I've said this before. I don't know how many a million people is. Like I would love to just see like from a helicopter view, be like, oh, that's a million people. I mean, people are like, there's 6 million people in LA. What does that mean? Yeah. What is that Encino? Is that Playa? What counts?
They're scattered.
But like exactly, and that's why somebody was like, "That's like if your video did this many views, everybody in LA saw it." I'm like, "Yeah, man. Like I know it's a lot of people, but like, is that like I just need to? I don't know how big because a football stadium, like I think Ohio State's like 50K or something.
I think it's more than that.
Yeah, it's something massive.
That's a lot of people, though.
I'm trying to. Yeah, I would just love to be like, oh, that's how many people saw that.
You want to see a tangible physical representation,
right?
What if we did it in pennies or feathers?
That's a lot.
We got you 1 million feathers and said, imagine these feathers are humans.
I would rather do the 1,000,000 pennies because then I would low key be worth. How much money is that?
1 million pennies? I don't know.
I was gonna say $1 million, but they're not dollar bills, Trevor. They're not.
They're pennies.
So $1,000,000, 100K? I don't know. Math, not good at it.
So 100 pennies is $1, right?
Yes, Zach.
So then you divide 100 by 1 million, right?
I'm with you.
And then I don't know what that is. I know you move zeros somewhere. Can somebody
is
get
why-
a calculator?
Have you ever been to the Rose Bowl?
Yes.
The Rose Bowl can hold like 90,000. So imagine 10 of
shit.
those, maybe to 11 of those.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it's a different feeling because
Yeah.
when you're on stage, whether you're in front of a crowd of hundreds or thousands or millions or just 10 people, the energy is palpable.
Yes, because you're performing versus a video. You put it out to the internet, and the rest is on the internet. You know, it's like I already performed the video side, and now I'm giving it to you.
Is
So-
your creative process different when it comes to tackling a stand-up set compared to observing something and then making a video about it?
Yeah, kind of whenever I get an idea, first thing I go is this a video idea? Or is this a stand-up idea? And then I'll kind of see like where to put it.
How do you tell?
If I think it's like because stand-up you ideally want like a joke to be like around 3 minutes, maybe 3 to 5 tops, really. For me at least. And then you're like, do I have enough for that? Or is it a video? And then you're like, it's maybe not yet. Or I'll try it on a video. And if the video hits, I'm like, maybe it's a stand-up bit. Or if I try it in stand-up and it doesn't work, but okay, maybe that's just a video idea, whether it's a character or a full premise. But I don't really know how. My brain just like kind of looks at something and it'll be like, video, stand-up.
How do you test material? Are you going out and working tinier clubs?
Yeah, so I'll do a lot of like little shows in town. Like tonight I'm just doing like 2 little shows that are just like 10-minute sets. And they're just at like the comedy clubs around here. And I'll just do some new stuff on that. Or if I saw on my show, I do 45 minutes, which is just about average. I'll throw on some new stuff like midway. So it's like you do the bangers up front, get the trust. They like you, and then you're like, here's a new one. And then regardless of how that goes, then you just finish it strong with some other, I guess, stuff that's going to work.
So will you draw out a set list before you hit the stage?
Yeah.
You'll know exactly the beats you're going to hit.
Yeah, before every show I write down, like either my phone or like a pad. It'll just be like, just the set list. It'll just be one word that cues a joke. So it'll just be like, Canada, pterodactyl, T-Pain. It's a legit set list that I have. Yeah.
So what do you do if a joke is bombing and you know it's bombing while you're in the middle of the joke?
Oh, God. I think if it's brand new and I've never done it, you muscle your way through it just to hope that at least, because sometimes it'll be like if there's like 3 different punchlines and the first 2 don't hit, you're like, something is telling me this third one will. And then more often than not, at least one thing hits. So it'll be like, you should wait to see. But if nothing hits, I usually sandwich a new joke next to a joke that like might be similar. So like I have this like weird dating story I've been trying to get to work. Because one time I went on a date with a girl and she had a capsule necklace. And I thought it was something meaningful like crystals or stones or, like Lowry's seasoning salt, like something important, But it was inside was ashes from her grandma. And I've done it like 3 times now, and 2 out of the 3 worked. I did it last night, and it didn't really. So now I just sandwich it on next to other dating material. So if that doesn't hit, then I just segue in. So it's not like
I get it.
I do that. Then I'm like, you guys got a car wash today? And they're like, what? What about the grandma thing? Where's the segue on that? So
Will you change the way you tell a joke based on the reaction? Like, how do you know a joke isn't actually working? Like, how many times do you need to test it to get an accurate read?
I say 3. Or sometimes I'll just keep it on the back burner. And then, like, years later, I'll just be like, either or I go at it at a different angle, or I'm like, I'm a stronger comedian now, so maybe let me try and look at it then. Or, yeah, sometimes I'll just sit on it. But, like, that joke I've been wanting to work on for a while because, like, this happened in, like, 2016. And I'm trying to because it's such an interesting thing that happened to me that nobody else can relate to. And I'm trying to make it relatable.
All right, so I have a question, though. So you have that story. You got a reaction out of us, and all you did was tell the story. You didn't make a joke. So what part of that story, needs a joke? Is it after you say the ashes part?
Sometimes people are just like, it's such a weird foreign concept. They're like, oh, I forgot this is a joke and not just a story. But sometimes a lot of comedians right now, especially, it's very just storytelling style. So I'm just trying to drag it out maybe into more of a story or how I can kind of elaborate because sometimes it's such a shock value. People just were just like, ooh, instead of like a laughing response, instead of being like, and then inside it wasn't, I don't know, sand from La Jolla. It was her grandma. And they're like, ha, 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 ha. It's like a very like weird, people are just like, Jesus, what, is that normal? Like, it's like it takes them so far out of that zone.
But the story is natural, and I was able to understand that there was a joke at the end and there was a punchline.
Yeah, the 2 times I have done it, did well. So maybe I'll listen to it back because I record all the audio from them, and then I'll listen to it like the next day, and I'll need to listen to like last night's and be like, okay, why didn't that work?
So what are you listening for? Are you listening for your cadence, your delivery?
Yeah, if I said it different, or if I like mumbled a word, or like, because confidence is like one of the biggest things for comedy. It's like, because if you don't believe in your own joke, why should the audience? So if you like are rocky in your voice, they're gonna be like, what?
I don't believe you.
He's like, so this happened today? No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Because you have turbulence in your voice. Like you got to deliver it like this is my opinion. This is what happened, and this is a strong point of view.
How long does it take for you to get up on stage and feel confident?
It takes a while. I mean, it varies for everybody, but I remember the first time I did stand up, I like almost like blacked out. I was just like I was 17, so. That was like really the first time I ever found out I was like funny. Because it was a crowd of strangers. And then I did like 5 minutes of jokes and I was so nervous for it. I went up there, I was so nervous. And then when the first joke hit, like it was very soothing after that because it like reassured everything. And then it just like, it was so quick. It was just like first joke. And then 5 minutes later, I was just like, what just happened?
But you got a positive response.
Yeah, it was great.
Have you bombed?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now it's a little different because for the most part, I know what jokes work. And when I play my shows for my audience, they want to like me already. So even if I do a brand new joke, they'll still give me the benefit of the doubt. But there's been times where it's like, you throw a whole joke out there and it is, and you're like, all right. And when you're earlier on in stand-up, it's oftentimes you lash out at the crowd instead of your own self. Oh, that's not funny. But you got to just accept that, like, there's a crowd, they want to laugh. It's probably just not funny. Like, the joke's just not good.
It's not them, it's you.
Yeah, they're like, we're at a comedy club. We're ready for laughter. It's not like you're in an accounting firm. Like, no, we need to do our taxes. That's not funny. It's not the time.
So it wasn't your first time that you bomb, but, like, how far into this process, did you, like, go out wanting to be a stand-up comedian, or did you go out just wanting to be funny making videos online?
Stand-up comedian, and then this was around the time Vine was out, and I was like, okay, like, my friend was like, you should do Vine videos, and I was like, I don't get it, da-da-da, and then similar to how TikTok is right now, I just kind of scrolled and was like, what is this about? And I was like, oh, you can be funny on here. Then I tried some just random ideas that I had, and like when you have like 5,000 followers on a college campus, people are like, dude, congrats. You made it, bro. Dude, you can be late to psychology any day, bro. You got 10,000 revines. So
do you like telling a story in 6 seconds, or do you prefer 5 minutes, minute and 30? Because your videos vary in length, but your average stand-up joke, like I was watching 9-minute sets, 5-minute jokes in there.
Yeah. I think like a couple minutes is good because you can just really, you can take all the roads there are. Because the one thing that's cool is like if you gave 2 comedians a topic about like Tinder, it might start the same, but where they branch off to is going to be different. So I like that, where you can start on a premise and then go down this road, and then it goes down that road, and he talks about like your ex-girlfriend, and then it leads to current date, but it's all under the same like category. I think that's really neat, and it's like really talented, and seeing comedians do that. But like the quick stuff, it's kind of hard. Like
6 seconds is nothing.
I don't know how people did anything on that app. Now that I think back, it's like 2.5 sentences. When baby like insert music, dee-dee-dee, iMovie, and then 10 million revines, and then you just I don't even know how Vine. Yeah, that's insane to me.
Was there an art to it or no?
Yeah, I mean there has to be for it to be that successful and that popular, but I think the biggest thing about it was it didn't involve like a sound guy and an editor and this and that. You could just make it on your phone and be like, this is what's funny, in which it just gave a lot of people who had any bit of like creativity or wanting to be creativity a platform without like, I don't know how to use a camera or this or that. So it was very just like, here's a phone, do something, which I liked about that.
And now you're on TikTok.
TikTok, baby. The messed up part is TikTok is my biggest audience. And like,
what? All
I did was upload my old videos from like YouTube and Instagram, and I have like 2 million on there. And I'm like, what? But it's definitely not the most. I think Instagram is the most valuable because there's like the stories and the swipe ups, and there's like you can put links and this and that. TikTok, it's hard to connect with your audience. I think so. I just have this following of like 2 million. I'm like, what do I do?
I didn't know we were in the presence of a TikTok star. I would
I
have
am
been treating
a
you differently.
TikToker, yes. I am here. I will renegade on everybody right now. I'm not good at dancing. I don't know why. It's frustrating because I've been making videos on my Instagram for like 4 years now. And it's like, I have like 1 point something. And it's like, it's just slow, step by step by step. And then TikTok's like, sure, here's a couple mil. And you're like,
We like you over here.
Exactly.
Do you question the legitimacy of the platform?
I just think it's very user friendly in a sense that if you want to follow somebody, it's just so like you open the app and it's just you can explore on like random stuff,
intuitive.
and then you can follow is right there. It's like, oh, you like this video, you can follow. So I think a follow is less meaningful versus on like YouTube, a subscriber is like the holy, like that's the one you want.
That's
so
it.
like if a video does 1 million views on YouTube versus like 10 million on Facebook, like that's like YouTube is more like, oh, they clicked on that.
Is there a formula to your funny? Like, do you know what works?
For the most part, I think so. But I'm sometimes wrong or over judge it or something. But so I used to work in marketing and I worked as social media like coordinator, and I would just see like I would upload videos for this company all the time, and I would see why I would do good on why I'd do good on Twitter and not Facebook and vice versa and Instagram and this. So I just apply that same method, and like also I think. If you just watch how fast a random person scrolls, like look at how much time they give a post. It's literally like, yep, nope. Like it's like if you don't catch their attention within a thumb scroll of time, like you never will. So my videos, I try to do like quick zooms, fast paced, choppy, quick, fast, just so somebody's like, wait, what's going on here? Instead of like, but which is like kind of weird because I went to film school. So like I would love a cinematic shot of like the sun coming down and like birds chirping and then, voiceover in an exterior shot. But it's like, dude, people don't get time for that. YouTube will give you the benefit of the doubt, but like if you're not
Susie on Insane giving you any time.
Yeah, you got to start on something. So like I just apply that type stuff to my humor and fast pace and just like a bunch of little jokes. But
there is something to how observant you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the videos, you really you tear things apart. Guy at the gym. I mean, you covered every personality trait that could exist in the gym.
Yeah.
Do you just sit in a gym for weeks and understand people?
Yeah, I just sit in gyms. I don't work out in there. I wear baggy clothes.
Dress just like that in the corner.
But I think what hopefully essentially makes me separate from other online creators is like it's very easy to do like dudes at the gym be like, and then just do like the basics. I try to look like the layer like behind that, like the guy that stares at you in between sets, like because obviously there's guys that like grunts and the guy that's like I try to like what's more detailed, and I think it's the stuff where you go, oh, I have seen that guy. That's yeah, like makes you think instead of like the obvious, because you think when you click on that video, you know what you're gonna see. A lot of times people are going to be like, it's these 4 traits. The guy never puts the weight back in the right spot or whatever. But I think it's the funny is like in the super specific stuff. So, and if you get those super specifics, people just tend to like that more because like, oh, he did his homework.
The details are funny.
Yeah.
How much time goes into each video?
It kind of varies, but it's kind of like a 3-day process. Like I'll kind of like write it out for like an hour or two the night before, and then I'll film it. And then I'll improv some stuff while I'm filming, and then I'll edit it. And the editing takes anywhere from like half day to a day.
Who's writing it with you?
It's just me. Sometimes I like write with like this other guy I film with a lot, Churdleys, if you guys know him.
Ollie likes him a lot.
Yeah, he's great. He's a buddy of mine. So we'll kind of start with the premise, and then we'll just kind of help each other be like, oh, you should say that. Oh, you should say this. And then we kind of just like improv it, and then we just write as we film, which is like untraditional, but like sometimes it feels so weird to just sit at a computer and be like, let's type a script for what is funny. And you're like in the middle of like a coffee bean trying to be like, what is funny? It's like, or we could get in character and pretend to be these guys and then just like whatever comes out of our mouth. And that's worked for us, which is weird because that's like the not traditional way of like how this town works of like, I need a script, proof of concept, this and that. Where does act 1 go? Where's the love line? So like we just do it,
It's rare because a lot of times it takes a lot of chemistry to get there.
Yeah, exactly.
Curb Your Enthusiasm is kind of like that. They improv a lot. They have the story and they have an understanding. But again, like it's the same core characters every episode.
Right.
It's just a different way.
And season by season, they like start to know each other. And like one of my favorite shows is Reno 911. And they did a lot of that too, a lot of improv. And it's like it gets stronger as the seasons go because they know each other's character and where they're probably going to go. So they can like throw out something that they know they're going to get a response from.
And the trust is unwavering.
Yes, exactly.
And which, by the way, is 99% of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like an improv group. If you, day one versus the end of the year, if they've been doing it all year, it's like it's going to be night and day.
Do you find it difficult to take what you're doing and bring it, I don't want to say to the mainstream, but to like a network, because they do work so differently?
Yeah. And that's kind of where we're at right now, because it's like we have all these videos banked up of these characters we've done, and they're like, okay, that's cool, but like, where would season 1 go with these guys? And where's the through line? And we're just kind of like, that's where you guys help us out, right? So it's hard to kind of talk with them, and because we're all meeting in the middle, because they want to work with us and we want to work with them. So we're just kind of like, we're not butting heads, but we're kind of just like, you know that Spider-Man meme where they're both just like looking at each other? We're just both like, I got ideas, you got ideas. And we're just like, we don't know like who to make a move first. And we're just kind of like, So it's a little different just because like, obviously a network's not going to be like, because we're not massive names or anything. If Seinfeld's like, give me X amount of money and we'll just go film something, like, perfect, whatever, do you. But for us, we're like, we're some kids online. Can we do something? They're like, yeah, but we need proof.
But you guys are making sketch comedy relevant.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like what we're hoping for, is just kind of like one, because I feel like someone like Adult Swim would be like, we've dealt with this before. This is kind of like the Eric Andre show in a sense. Like we trust it. So luckily we do have those characters and the proof with them attached to it. Be like, hey, I mean, these people online like these characters, so let's give them a shot. So
what character are you the most attached to?
Probably, I really like, so it originally started about Bitcoin. It's got Blader Seacrest. I just thought was a great, and then Bitcoin kind of died out, and then I just like transferred him to like this, that he did like the AirPod videos, so just like that. I really like that. And then I think the frat character, it's just hilarious just to like play like just some like loud, obnoxious dude. It's just nice to be characters you wouldn't want to be in public.
But do you feel like there's a certain part of them within you?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, I think every character I've ever done has like some part of me, and I try not to act like those guys on their normal day-to-day basis, but like sometimes it comes out, you know?
Like at what point do you realize that Blader Seacrest?
Mm-hmm.
When is he born?
I think once you get your first little chunk of money or something, and then your barber's like, hey, we're up in the rates from 35 to 55, and you're like, that's fine, you know? It's not fine. Why did he go up $20? He still cuts hair the same. Do I get an IPA with it? Like, what's happening? But I don't know. I think it's at first just like kind of just like when somebody, I don't know what it is. Like I remember when I bought my phone last, they're like, okay, so the monthly payment, and I was like, nah, cash, straight. Which isn't an insane amount of money. It's like.
But in that moment, he is born.
Yes. It's just that guy that's just like, I'm cool with it. Like, don't worry. Yeah. You guys got Voss water? Beautiful. All right.
Why do you think Kyle is your most popular video on YouTube?
I think it was timing. I think it was just like a big, like people were kind of like making jokes about just kids named Kyle, but nobody brought a persona to it. And I was just like, dude, this would be hilarious. Because I originally had a sketch about just like, I just had written down, it just said like kids who punch their wall. Because as a kid, I used to punch my wall. I have like 3 spots in my old room that I could point to, but yeah, that one got wrecked. Got a roundhouse to the face. And I called my camera guy and I was just like, remember how I told you about that kid idea? What if I just attached it to a Kyle? And then they're like, it's amazing. And I made that video and it was just great because I just destroyed some stuff. And then I had the Churdleys, he was in the second half of it as like a different kind of Kyle. And it was just a little sweet. It's just, I think it was timing mixed with creativity. And I think if you get on a trend right before it really cracks, it's like surfing. If you get on the wave too late, you're not going to go anywhere with it. But like right as the wave's starting to build up and you get in, you just ride it out.
Has there been a moment where you thought you were calling something?
Yeah.
That it didn't turn into something?
Yeah. What does that happen with? I'm trying to think. I mean, now that I have like an audience, it won't like flop as bad. But sometimes it'll like kind of start to get. Well, probably one of the worst things I did is remember like 4 years ago when music video parodies were really big. It was like Bart Baker was like the dude.
Oh yeah.
I did one like a year or two ago. God, it's so bad. So this is when God's Plan was out. I was like, you know what? I got something for the street. Dog's Plan. And I bought a giant dog costume. I paid a music video guy for it to film it. This was probably 2 years ago, and I just did a parody of it, and I posted it. I was like, "This is it. This is the one," and it just didn't really do much. And God,
You still in that dog suit?
no, it was raining the day we filmed it, so the dog suit got all wet. So I just threw it away.
Did you take that video down?
I might have put it on private.
I was like, I can't find it right now.
I don't know, man. It's I think it's cool to have like one thing I like is like when people get really big, like singers or whatever it might be, and then like you look back on their Instagrams, like them trying to make it, and you're like, oh, it's so cool, like to see like where they came from. But that's a video I'm like, I don't need to see that.
I gotta know how pissed your parents are, because you talked about film school and you're talking about all these outrageous characters, and the first thing that's coming to my mind is like, your parents can't be gung ho right away about this.
Right away they weren't. I think now that I'm like, I guess successful in it, they're stoked. But right away, like I told them, I was like, yeah, like when I quit my job, do comedy videos full time. They're like, yeah, right, quit. Okay, that's a funny word, but as what really I think changed it was on family vacation. Like people were coming up to me at lunch, and they're like, oh, this is like a thing. This was like during the Zumiez days.
People were recognizing you.
Yeah, and then in front of the parents, like obviously it's one thing if some kid's like, Mom, look, I got X amount of views on this. They're like, all right, what does that mean though? But like when like they saw it in real life, they were like, it's interesting
Because it's real.
Yeah, exactly, and right. And I only had to pay like 2 people to come up to me, so it was great. But once I told them like, not this September, but last September is when I quit my job. So like a year and some change ago. I think I was nervous to tell them. I was like, I'm going to quit. And then they're like, yeah, we saw this coming. Like, makes sense. And I was like, wait, really? I can just do this? I'm like, yeah.
Is that one of the proudest moments in your life that you've...
Yeah, I was so nervous to tell them. Because I was also nervous to be like, okay, I have a steady income. I have benefits, health paid for. But if I leave here, what could happen?
Total unknown.
So I was just saving up in my old job. I saved up for like 6 months of like, in case I didn't get anything. And then I just quit and made some videos, and then just kept making stuff. And yeah.
Do they think you're funny?
My parents?
Yeah.
I think they think I'm funny in like a that's my son type way.
Yeah,
you know?
my parents definitely don't think I'm funny, so that's why I'm like
Oh,
fascinated to know if yours find you funny.
Brutal. I think they laugh harder when I'm not there. You know, like my mom will text me and be like, that new video was great. And then when I'm at the house, I'll say something stupid, and she's like, no. She's like, are you going to do the dishes or not? I'm like, oh, no, Mom, I'm verified. She's like, you're verified as my son, too. Do the goddamn dishes.
Why did My Strange Addiction not get cut off your YouTube?
I love parody. I think mockumentary and parodies are like 2 of my favorite things. So I think that one was like I kind of liked it.
I thought it was really funny.
It's a little bit different than your traditional like because I have a lot of like the one-liner quick type stuff, but I also think it's cool to see like, oh, he also does like sketch stuff and parody, and I've always liked doing that stuff like that.
So it showcased a different side of you.
Exactly. Yeah, because if you go to my page and it's just like 100 videos will be like people who wear checkered Vans be like, you're like, all right, what is this guy gonna do in 5 years? You know, like. People who teleport slowly be like, and it's like, all right. Like you can only ride that way for so long. So I didn't ever want to be like, so if I do too many like relatable videos in a row, I'll be like, okay, what's a sketch I can throw out there? What's something just was not so blocked up?
But is that also a challenge for you? Like, you must do that for yourself, because if you get stuck in the same rut, feeling like the audience wants a certain thing from you, you kind of you run that same course every day.
Yeah, the internet's kind of like, it's kind of weird because you're just like placing bets on like stocks essentially, because you're like, I think this stock's gonna do really good, but you're also like, I kind of want to, these penny stocks, aka like these type sketches, I want to invest in because I think these sketches will be big one day. So nobody's telling me that I got to do like 2 relatable videos and then 1 sketch. It's all mental for me. I'm like, all right, that's too many in a row. That I got to do a podcast and a video. So like nobody's telling me that I have to, but I think in terms of my own sanity and like whatever, I think it just makes sense to me if I was a viewer. But I mean, people don't care. Like I'll be stressed out, like I gotta put out a video. Somebody's like, for who? Who asked for it? Like, oh, well, it's a good point.
Society's waiting though.
Right, but it feels like there's something about that anxiety that I think any and all creators get if they haven't like posted in like 2 weeks. They're like, oh, I'm irrelevant.
Is there anything you feel like you've missed? Like a trend that you didn't get to capitalize on?
Probably. I'm trying to think what it might be, but there definitely has been some stuff where it's like just too late, or sometimes trends. Yeah, I'm trying to think what it was, but I remember one time I was like, no, it's gonna die out. Area 51. That was something that I was like, it's gonna die out. It's gonna die out. And then it never really did, but I didn't do anything on it. But also, I had friends make stuff about it, and like none of their stuff really did much. So I was just like, well, I don't think I missed anything.
I feel like there was a lot of voices at once because it existed. So.
Exactly. I mean, it's like everybody was like making jokes about it. So I was like, that's why like if you take a gamble, like the White Club video, nobody's really making jokes about it. So I was like, I hope enough people know about it. Like at least some people will know about it. And then it ended up being like one of my biggest things ever. So
dude,
it was like you take the gamble on that. Like everybody was doing Area 51, but like at that time somebody probably put out something else irrelevant to Area 51, and that did better.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's like so much going on here. And that's why like I think a lot of comedians try to stay away from like Trump jokes. They're like, everybody has one. What's a more specific point of view to me? And like what's funny?
I want to get to Trump in a second, but White Claw, another video that changed your life.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, when you hold the White Claw up to your ear and you go, if you listen closely, you can hear the crackle of a jewel.
Yeah.
Dude, I howl.
Thank you, man. That one
Bravo.
Yeah, that one I kind of, and also I think the internet can tell when you're trying too hard. I think you can smell it out a little bit. That video I made in like an hour and a half in my friend Churdley's apartment, actually, because I was in between apartments out here, so I was living at home, and then I call him like, hey, can I use your apartment tomorrow to film? And then he's like, yeah, what's your idea? And I tell him, he's like, all right, yeah.
So you come in a beautiful getup, all peach colored.
Oh yeah, just bright, obnoxious. Recently bleached the hair, just. I mean, are you even a creator if you don't bleach your hair? Is that a thing?
I don't think so.
You're not. If you've never been to Coachella, got an artist pass, and not gone to the artist lounge with bleached hair, you're not a creator. You're
not real.
You have to. So I think, but yeah, that video, I had like 3 or 4 videos last year that like really hit. And then that's when, because like all my followers are kind of like maintaining. It was like, yeah, steady growth. But like 3 kind of piled up on each other. And then people were like, oh, he did that, and that. And then people started following. Because a lot of times people will see your face, but they won't follow. They'll be like, yeah, he's not here to stay. You got to like prove it to the internet, which is weird.
Oh, I get it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, it's just one video. Like people will be like, nah, it's whatever. He's funny, but like I ain't following him. It's like, what is your following worth?
But by the way, like that is the biggest question that I wake up every morning. I ask it. I go to sleep. I ask it.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned subscription. That is the most coveted of follower. Right?
Yeah.
It is the hardest thing to get is a subscription.
Mm-hmm.
So you do wonder, like, what does a human being need to do? What does a human being need to look like? How constantly do I need to feed you?
Right.
How much food is too much food?
Exactly.
It's a lot goes into it.
But yeah, I'll get messages from people who be like, I've seen your videos online, but like today you earned my my follow. I was like, oh, thank you. The Prince of Fresno just followed me. Thank you. Good sir. It's very like, I don't know, but I guess in a way that's them supporting you, and brands look at that like based on how many followers you have. So at the end of the day, a follow is worth money.
But there's more people who actually know you exist than follow you.
Exactly. So that's interesting too.
Were you excited when you hit 1 million followers? Because you just recently did that, right?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I think it's weird because getting 1 million is like turning 21. Like you're all stoked, and then you're like, well, what about 22 is not going to be great. Like my immediate brain was like, okay, cool. What's next? But like hitting 21 is awesome because like, I'm 21, I can party, da da da. It's like getting your first 1 million is like awesome. Then afterwards, you're like, now what? 2 million?
Yeah. How do you get fed?
Yeah, you just got to keep going. I guess. I think if you get too caught up in the numbers, it's just too draining, and it's literally just. Like, some go, some come, some go, some come. So it's just kind of like steady growth, I think.
But all of these videos and all the online presence really is fueling your stand-up career.
Yes.
And your stand-up tours, which, by the way, like, you're fucking funny.
Thank you.
Your feelings on edibles.
Oh, yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's an old joke.
I understand.
But yeah. But yeah, I used to make edibles in like high school with my friends, and it'd be so like just thrown together makeshift. It'd be like crackhead style. It'd be a peanut butter cracker, or it'd be a cracker with peanut butter on it, and then you put the weed in the peanut butter, and then you'd bake it, and then the THC oils will like seep into the peanut butter.
That's a firecracker.
Firecracker. You know about these?
Oh, I've made them.
Oh, but like they're the most disgusting things in the world, and it's just hot peanut butter with a Ritz cracker, the worst thing you could ever have to be high on. Now edibles are so tasty and like guava, peach, pineapple. I'm like, do I take this after a workout? Like, do I put this in a smoothie? But I think edibles have all, I don't know. I started smoking weed early on, so like it was in like 8th grade when I first smoked weed. So
I mean, that does something to your brain.
oh yeah, I think
Could be positive or negative. I don't know.
Yeah, I think positive in a creative space, negative in like how do you spell the word predictable, like that type of stuff. So I think in a sense, like what you were saying earlier, I think my parents were just more so proud that I didn't go down the route they thought I was going to go. Because I got caught drinking in like 7th grade, smoking in 8th grade. They're like, he's not going to be good. This is not, we just got our new senior manager at AutoZone for the next 42 years. But I think when they saw that I like found something I was actually passionate about and like was getting some success with it, they were like stoked on it. So, which makes sense.
Why is it uncomfortable for a man to have hard nipples? And why is that a
Dude,
big fear for you?
It's just, you have to look. You just see another dude and you're like, oh, geez.
I feel my most nipple comfortable when they're hard and not
Really?
soft. Yes.
Really?
I mean, I have very unique man breasts, like, bra status. So,
That hard nip energy.
Dude.
You walk in a room and just let them go. See,
I mean, I want my headlights to be on when I enter a situation.
not a bad way to look at it.
It means I'm focused.
This is just funny to hear guys talking about their nipples right now. This has never happened.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's like, I've added to that joke just being like, because when I say like my biggest fear is having hard nipples, is a lot of girls laugh. And I go, yeah, see, all the girls in here are like, yeah, your turn. You try walking around Panera Bread with hard nipples, you know?
Exactly.
And that's just like problems that you guys have to face. But as dudes, it's like, I don't know, because that's like in the same thing where it's not a very common point of view that you would think. Like, oh, the guy's got hard nipples. You don't really think about that. But now, like, all the people like think back and be like, yeah, it is kind of weird if a guy's just working out with hard nipples. You know, you're just, I don't know. What is he aroused by? The 45 dumbbells were in the right spot today? And he's like, yes.
No, I think a hard nipple looks a little nicer than a soft nipple.
But soft nipples with the shirt on just don't really look like much.
Yeah, with the shirt on, I guess a softer nipple's better.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm saying, yeah, hard nipples with the shirt's off. I could see. I'm all for that. I'm saying when it's poking through the shirt,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's something.
it's like, bro, there better not be a school around here because it's weird, you know? It's just
Although I do have a friend I grew up with, like, it could be hot, cold, doesn't matter. His nipples are always hard.
always hard.
That's a curse.
Yeah, I mean, he got them pierced because they're always hard. He's like, I got the hard nipple. I might as well
God.
get the nipple ring.
That's even worse. He just doubled down, you know? He's like, you've seen him hard, but now have you seen him bedazzled? Look at this, baby. Straight from Claire's. I guess is one way to double down, though.
Would you get anything pierced?
I used to have gauges in high school.
Oh, how big you go?
00, which is at one point I could put my pinky through my ear.
Wow.
So-
That's your proudest accomplishment.
Yeah, so I think my parents were like very shocked that I was like did anything successful after smoking weed, drinking, and having gauged ears all by the age of 16. And I had a Honda Civic with two 12-inch subs in the back. Like it was a hybrid.
You were a
Man.
douchebag.
Oh, yeah, I don't know who I was in high school. Like every year was different. Like
Did you ever put the cigarettes in the holes?
no, but God, you know how they have the tapers, the long ones.
Yeah.
I used to just be in class and just like play with them all day and like take them out. Like, I'd be like, yeah, chicks will love this. I'm like, no, they won't, because you don't know who complimented me on my ears? Other dudes that are just like, yeah, does that hurt? Should I get them? You got any spares? And I'd be like, Marissa, where are you going? This is not dope. But dude, I just didn't know what I wanted to do in high school. And then the first time I did stand up, I was 17, and that's when it kind of like clicked. I was like, was I just decent at something? Where do I go from this? You know?
Was that the first time you felt like you were good at something?
Yes, literally. Up until that, I just maintained. Like if everybody's like, we're going skating, I'm like, cool. I'll just be in the back. If we're, playing beer pong, I might make the middle cup. I was always a middle cup player, like, which is not a great guy. It's like you make one, so you're not trolled, so you don't got to go to the table, but you didn't add value. You took out the best cup, all right? So I was always just like maintaining. And then when I found something I was like decent at, I was like, ooh, double down on that. And then went to college, and I was just like, I joined a fraternity my first 2 years. All I cared about was just like partying and stuff. But then like my junior year, I was like, I should like really get back to my comedy roots. And that's when Vine came out. So I was just doing stand up and Vine. I was like, this is what I want to do.
Is there a joke from your first set that sticks with you today?
Let me see. Oh boy, I just remember the story I told was about when what was that story? I just remember I got a helmet ticket on my skateboard when I was 17, and I went. So I grew up in like this city called Camarillo, if you guys know. Familiar. But the judge house was in a place called Oxnard, and Oxnard's a little bit more, how do I say,
Tough.
A little tougher out there. So I'm in a courtroom. All these kids are like, Grand Theft Auto, DUI. This is it's all minors, everybody under 18. They were like saying real stuff, and my last name is Wallace, so I had to go last in the jury. And there's literally a kid who's like Grand Theft Auto charges, and then they're like in front of the court cases. Then I'm like, oh, that was skating without a helmet. The guy's like, you speak up for the bailiff. I'm like, skating without a helmet. I might have had a pocket knife. I think I like stole a candy bar that day, but. I talked about that story, and I don't remember the jokes in it, but I just remember how funny it was being and if you bring a helmet to court, they dismiss it. So I was just sitting in court with a helmet on my lap, looking like I was about to get my ass beat, or if
Super
somebody
hard.
were. Yeah, so I just had a helmet, and I was like, I brought my helmet too. And the guy's like, you're good. And I got out of like a $65 ticket. So I talked about that story, and it was pretty funny. God, maybe I should talk about that more. I don't know. It was interesting, but yeah, that was so it was like 10 years. It was 10 years ago. Yeah.
Do you write every day?
I need to. I some sort of like creativity. I just write notes on my phone like all the time. So it'll be a random thought, or sometimes I'll just write out a tweet and then put it in my drafts and look at it later. But in some form, I write every day, whether it's editing or just like writing down a note or writing like a full page. But I think for the most part, yeah.
So it's with you. You don't
Yeah.
need to set apart like work time.
No, I need to, and a lot of people do that. They're like, every day I write from 11 to 12, but sometimes for me, like, it feels so forced to sit down and be like, and be funny. Same thing we were talking about earlier with like just writing out a script. It's just like, when you put pressure on it, I think the funniest stuff is like when you're looking for funny, you're not going to find it, but when something happens to you, something random at Starbucks happens, and you're like, oh, that's funny. It's how you adapt life to you instead of like, because it just feels forced when I try to write stuff, because I'm just like writing like, yeah, squirrels are crazy, right? And I'm like, where would what? So I think a lot of times it's easier for me to write or get new material when I just go do stuff.
You live.
Exactly.
I totally understand.
I forget who said it, but it's like, live a life worth talking about. Something like that.
I get it.
Because like if you just do stand up all night, every night, it's like all you're gonna talk about is like how are we gonna relate to a crowd of people who are like, I want to go on a date tonight. Let's go to a comedy show. And the guy's like, isn't comedy the worst? They're like, what? We came here to laugh. So you got to live a life. That's why I think it's cool to have like a life outside of comedy, so you can talk about that type of stuff.
What is your life like? Do you have a relationship?
I do have a lady. Got me a girl.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. She doesn't work in entertainment at all. She's in like finance.
Wow.
So
you like this?
Yeah, it's a little different because it's like her shifts are ending when mine are starting, because I'll be like 6 o'clock. Well, I'm like, oh, I'm editing, and then I got to go off to the show at like 9. And so it's like the mismatch there. But it's weird because like I'll tell her my work problems, and then she tells me her work problems. I was like, is that what I sound like when I tell you my problems? Because like there's zero overlap at all. She's like, we ran out of Keurig cups at the office today. I'm like, I don't.
You can't relate.
Yeah, but you got free muffins at 11. What are you complaining about, Pam brought in carrot cake. That was gluten-free. That's a great day for everybody, all right? So, and then my problems were like, yeah, I tried this joke about, like, pigeons and how they, like, date. And she's like, what do you even... It's, like, so weird. But I kind of like it because when we're not talking about our jobs, just, like, it's nice.
Yeah, you can live a normal life together.
Exactly. Yeah. Versus if you're both in the industry, it's always,
it's always that.
Exactly.
And by the way, it's drowning. And like anybody who drowns in that type of shit becomes not funny.
Right.
Because
exactly.
the second you stop living a normal life is the second you become unrelatable.
Well, oh yeah, one of my comedian friends, he's dating this Instagram model, and she's gorgeous, and he tries to talk about it on stage. He's like, don't you hate it when you're out in public and everybody, and then he's like, does like very specific stuff about how hot she is in her Instagram career, and the crowds are just like,
I can't relate.
we met on Tinder, bro. We're not.
I have a growth coming out of my face.
Exactly, right? I look like Harvey Dent. What are you talking about right now? You expect me to know how to relate? So just live a normal human life. Because if you think about it, like the average people that go to a comedy show are just, for the most part, just people who's trying to have a good time. You're normal kind of civilians. So it's not like you need to be like, don't you hate it when your fit tummy tea payment is late? And like, what?
Well, people get offended at everything these days. Does that make it hard to be a comic?
In a sense, for some people, yeah. It's weird because like some people know that everybody gets offended, so they don't lean into it. But some people overly lean into it. They're like, I'm a shock comic. But I was like, I'm not that kind of guy. I'm very just like, here's a funny thought that I had. So it's just kind of like it fits in like a playful, like somebody came up to me after the show. They're like, I love that like dumb bro comedy you do. It's like I like that character you put on. I was like, character? That's me. But it's just like, I think you should watch my comedy and leave feeling like, it was it numbed the brain. It took whatever stress I had before that video or that comedy show I had and didn't make me think about it. Instead of watching my stuff and be like, he's wrong, da 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 da. That's why I try not to do like political stuff.
You are so not polarizing at all.
Yeah, I'm just yeah. It's just like watching, just like a cartoon. You're just like, nobody goes into watching SpongeBob with expectations. You're just like, that killed some time. That was nice. I enjoyed that.
That's how you look at yourself?
Maybe like an older SpongeBob, like SpongeBob with like like a 401k or something. But I don't know. I just don't think that like my comedy is like revolutionary or edgy that everybody's like, you got to hear about this guy. It's just more like it's easy to digest and it's easy to tag your friends in. Like, this is so you, that's so her. Just kind of like, it's just fun. It's just like, you don't leave that being pissed off. Because if you're super political, you offend a lot, but you also make a lot happy. Because if you're super pro-Trump, all the pro-Trump people are like, this guy's the greatest person ever. I don't know why they talk like that, but
they
do. A little bit. They got like a turkey leg in their mouth or something. But I just try to make it for both sides. And anytime I get political, people are like, stick to comedy. And I'm like, what? So I just like kind of just entertain everybody. I don't really pick a side.
Say Lorne Michaels calls you tomorrow and goes, yo, we have an opening for you.
Mm-hmm.
We need another white man on this show.
Yeah.
Are you down?
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, that's a legit question that I'd have to think about. You got to see what the contracts look like and all that money-wise. But you're like, because if you do that show, you're pretty much saying, thank you, YouTube audience, for getting me to where I'm going. Goodbye now.
Yeah.
You can't be working on SNL, still be like, people who be on Saturday Night Live be like, and they're like, we don't relate. You're stressed out. Yeah. Exactly. So you're pretty much saying like, this is my calling now. I'm going full traditional. But I mean, I think every comedian deep down that's like, and that's like also like what my dad's side of the family is from Ohio. Every time they see me, like, when are you going to be on SNL? You should do Glenn, do the character. Do the character for my husband. Do the thing. And so I think everybody deep down, it's like, are you going to do it?
It's the pinnacle.
So yeah, I mean, I think it would be a wild experience, but we are in a different time right now where it's like, I can call my friend and make a video that'll get a certain amount of views that like,
totally beats out SNL.
Which is, it's just kind of like, it's a weird space where like, had you asked me that question 2 years ago, but yeah, are you insane? But I'm like, well, what do I want to do? Because now they have a little bit of leverage. It's like, what's the play here? So the answer is yes. I would sell out for SNL is exactly what I would do.
I wouldn't want you to sell out for SNL. I want you to have your own sketch comedy show one day because I think you deserve it.
And that's essentially the plan is that with a friend. So if that was like, if I had pitched all this stuff about doing sketches with my friends and none of it got picked up and then SNL called, I'd be like, great, I have a bunch of ideas. But if I was developing a show and I got some interest from some networks, I'd be like, all right, well, there's SNL, but I also want to create the next SNL with my friends, or I want to create the next Mad TV. I want to create the next Workaholics or something like that. Next Scroll Show, whatever.
Manifest it right here.
Yeah, there it is. Gonna have it by 2021, baby. It's coming up. I should have said 2022. 2020 soon enough in a calendar year of a few calendars.
I do have a question though. I know we have to wrap up, but isn't YouTube a big enough platform kind of these days? Like, what do you need a network for?
That's also another question. I mean, networks really just funding and money.
They're like a bank.
Yeah.
But your videos are doing better than a lot of that type of stuff does, and you don't need that big budget.
Right. Ultimately, you find a happy medium where it's like a Netflix where you go out and shoot it the way you want it. They fund it, and then you go, here you go. But it's mainly the money and longevity. For whatever reason, I think it's slowly changing. I think the way I think about YouTube, it's a lot like a tattoo. Like, remember when tattoos, everybody had tattoos 10 years ago, and they're like, "Oh, you're never going to get a job now." But now, like, your guy at Sweet Green says, like, a face tat, and you're like, that's tight. So I think YouTube is getting more accepted as a valid platform, and everybody wanted to start on YouTube and then get big, but I think you can just do it on YouTube. It's just something about a consumer's brain that when they see that Trevor Wallace went from YouTube to Netflix, they're like, yes, go him. Team, like, he did it. But if you're just always putting stuff out on YouTube, it's never like a new wave of like stoke.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like,
You haven't leveled up.
exactly.
Is there value in specials?
It's interesting. 2 years ago, there was a big value. I think that's like how Ali Wong became as big as she is, was from her special on Netflix. I think it's valuable for somebody who might not have an audience, but somebody who's really good at what they're doing right now is Andrew Schultz, if you're familiar with him. Films a special, dices it up, and then releases it in 5-minute increments, which is smart because if you tell somebody, here's an hour of stand-up comedy, you're immediately going, why do I have an hour? Which not everybody is as busy as certain people, but it's like the digestible stuff is like,
It's easier.
yeah, and it's more clickable. You're like, an hour of Trevor Wallace comedy. If you don't know who I am, you're not going to click that. But if it's a joke that's like, why Chucky had the worst hair in Rugrats, you're like, that's an interesting take. Where are we going from here? So it's like, and then what Schultz said is like, people binge. So they'll watch more if they want to.
Watch all of it.
So yeah, it's like, it's easier. It's like a shotgun effect. If you throw out 10 things, one of them might hit versus one. You put all your eggs in one basket and it doesn't hit. You're like, well, now I'm out of a special. But if you throw out 10 different clips that equal a special, now
It's smart.
you have a better chance of one of them doing well.
So if
So,
Netflix pays you $80 million, you take that.
oh, by all means. But Netflix has serious money, and if you have the following, it's sometimes they know that and they go, okay, well, bring the following over here. So I think it has value, but on both sides. Value to the newer guys who might not have as much exposure, because there have been some comedians on there that got great exposure and now they're like doing very well because of it. But sometimes you're big enough to where you're like, you can leverage, and Netflix can come to you with an offer and you're like, I'm good. And Netflix is like, but we're Netflix. And you're like, yeah, but I already have the audience. Not me personally. I'll take a Netflix deal right now, but
Oh, you want to give me a penny and some dust? I'm
dude,
in.
1 million pennies. That way I know what it finally looks like. But yeah, it depends. It depends kind of where you're at, because you can build your own audience and then tour the world off the internet without a network ever touching your projects, which is kind of crazy, which is a neat world to be in right now.
That's you right now.
Everybody is a entrepreneur. So it really is. It's like a very like kind of cool time right now where everybody's taking on streaming. Like, think about how many streaming services are right now. It's like so everybody's like in the corner, and it's just like nobody knows what they want to do with it. So if you can have your own place where people can just stream and you're in control, it's like, well, I guess I am my own Lorne Michaels, I guess.
That's it. So are we touring the country soon?
We are, yeah, it's kind of like I'll be in town for 2 weeks and then I'll like be here, then got to go, this and that. But I like staying in LA just so I can film stuff, but I also like traveling so I can get better at stand-up. But some shows I would love to promote. Valentine's Day weekend, going to be in Las Vegas. Jimmy Kimmel's new comedy club.
Oh, nice.
So bring out your girl, your guy, whatever it may be. Valentine's Day, I'm there Thursday, Friday, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think Thursday. It's on my website, trevorwallacecomedy.com. I'm also going to be in Oklahoma City, OKC in March, and Tampa in March as well. So
Giddy up.
yeah.
Are you going to bring your girl to Vegas?
Yeah, she's going to be there. I think she's stoked to be in Valentine's Day for Vegas. Or, gonna, words.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Do you like when she's at the show?
I tell her, I was like, you don't have to listen. Like, it's the same jokes you heard last week, this and that. But yeah, it's kind of cool. Just because the road is like lonely. You do the show for like 400 people. You're like, I'm the man. And then you're just sitting watching Forensic Files in your hotel room, be like, oh, that was quick.
From the highest high to the lowest low.
Your Postmates driver's like, I'm here. You're like, you want to hang out for a little? Like, I gotta go, man. Come on. You got any utensils? There's forks in the bag. Yeah, but like, any chopsticks? Can you hang out? I got family size. Me and you. We could really. It just gets lonely. So if you have somebody, it's more fun. Because sometimes you go to, like, I was just in Vancouver and it's a fun city. Or I've been to like Miami. Be like, how crazy was it? I was like, I was by myself. It wasn't crazy at all. So when you are with people, you can do the fun stuff. Because when you're alone and you're just like in Miami, you're just like, who wants to party? They're like, cop. You're a cop. You're wearing a wire. you have a drug dog around the corner. So
No choice but to retreat.
exactly, because you can't just be just like chilling, being like, "Who wants to hang out?" They're like, "We like you online, but in person, you're kind of weird."
On that note, Trevor Wallace, everybody.
Hey, thanks for
hanging
having me.
man.
Yes.
Appreciate you deeply.
Woo!
Hey, beautiful human, thanks for watching our full interview, but I get it. Like, a full interview is a lot. So we got a clips channel. We don't expect you to watch the full thing anymore, so we just gave you the highlights. Please subscribe and notifications and all that stuff. Okay, cool. I love you.